Raila Odinga Prime Minister in Ruto's government? Ati what? What are people saying? Ati ODM UDM merger? Aye! Is it a merger we're waiting for? Or is it that the split in ODM that we're witnessing will be actualized, will be complete? Which is which? Welcome to my show today. Moto kama at least pasi 10 ya makaa. A very warm welcome, where hopefully we'll clear the confusion in analyzing Kenyan politics at the moment, because there is a lot that is happening. Karibu sana. And then also, I have a special message of goodwill. A message I'm sure many on this channel are looking forward to. Yeah, based on your comments in a previous video. I have that message all in this show just for you to enjoy. Welcome back, and actually today we have a lot to cover. I believe at the end of the show today there should be a lot more clarity about what is really going down in our politics, because you can't blame Kenyans. It's rather confusing. After the Addis Ababa fiasco, we have come back into full-blown Kenyan politics, moving at a very fast pace. Many things happening. And indeed there was a question yesterday for me on our Telegram forum. After a Kenyan noticed that we have too many prominent Kenyans leaving the planet, all happening in rapid succession. And they posed the question, Chris, what is happening? What is happening spiritually? Or is this just a coincidence? I will also answer that question on my show today. In consultation with people who should know, with sources that should know, I will answer that question also right here on this show. So I urge you to stay with me. But first of all, a message of goodwill, a message of thanks. You know, a few videos ago, my last born daughter did an intro to one of my videos that was very well received. And I'll quote her response verbatim. Thank you very much. I am very grateful for all those very nice, lovely comments. But I need to tell you, I did not do it all at once, effortlessly. I tried many times before I could get it right. And therefore, we should all be encouraged that if you fail the first time, try again and again and again until you get it right. End of message. I believe I have been accurate. And I have something little to add. We're in the season of exposure, and therefore I guess it is a good idea to flow with the season before the season overtakes you and drowns you. And so I feel I need to reveal something today. Okay? Their mother was a great believer in homeschooling. Now that is controversial because homeschooling in Kenya is illegal. I'm sure some of us know that. In fact, there is an ongoing case in court where some Kenyans are fighting for it to be recognized by government. Now, partly because I move a lot, I've been moving a lot in my line of work, but mainly because my late wife was a great believer in homeschooling. Most of the education my children have had so far has been homeschooling. Now, this is not to say that their mother was well educated. On the contrary, she did not have much of an education. But she was very determined and using the internet and the little she knew and consulting me where she didn't know. The result is what you see today, which I believe is extraordinary. Bottom line, it was her and not some expensive posh schools somewhere charging millions of shillings in fees. No, it wasn't like that. Moral of that story, you can be anything you want to be. You can do anything. It is possible as long as you're very determined. Your past is not important. What is important is to focus on the future and focus on what you want. Yeah? I hope that will encourage many of us on this channel, because I'm very sure those who have been with me for a long time know that I value the truth. And what I've told you is nothing but the truth. My late wife did not even go to high school. True story. Never mind what you have heard before. Because you see, when you're writing an eulogy, while you're in the condition you're in, you're grieving. People will not allow you a free hand. Yeah, and some people may want to twist the truth for convenience. Allow me to leave it there. Right. Raila Odinga Prime Minister. There is clearly a very strong push from Ruto people that Raila Odinga must be a powerful Prime Minister in the Ruto government. And for those of us with the memory of an elephant, we will remember that Junet Mohammed told us they are sure they are going to be the next government. ODM is going to be the next government. It happened very early during the formation of this broad-based government. Broad-based government. But I believe the main question we need to ask is, can it work? Especially now, when clearly we see in ODM, there are those people who support the government assisting, let me put it in their language, assisting the Ruto regime, although the truth is propping up the Ruto regime. There are those who support it, and there are those who are strongly against it, like Secretary General Edwin Sifuna. And therefore it is not surprising that Edwin Sifuna is being fought a lot. Bloggers are digging up every dirt they can find. Even what is not dirt is being spun and twisted to look like dirt to finish Edwin Sifuna. We can all see that going down. And now, there is a brand new spanner that has been thrown into the works. It seems that Ruto has surrendered to Raila Odinga in Parliament. Oh yes, we just scared. The two parties have come to an agreement over this majority-minority party in Parliament and over the impeachment of Wetangula, which Junet Mohammed and other ODM legislators have promised Kenyans they will do. Now it seems that has been shelved. At a meeting in State House, Nairobi, recently, a deal was reached. And the long and short of this deal is that it gives Raila Odinga's troops more power in Parliament, in the National Assembly, especially in the House committees. Now we all need to understand that the House committees are the engine of Parliament. Now, Raila seems to have more power in the House than Ruto. And this latest development seems to confirm that this talk about Raila being the Prime Minister, an influential, powerful Prime Minister in the Ruto government, is not just hot air. There is something there, don't you think? Folks, for all intents and purposes, it seems that we are going back to the grand coalition government manenos of 2008. That is how it looks. Because all the signs are there. And if anybody is looking for evidence to support this, it is there. Ish. And therefore the big question, the big political question we must ask ourselves is, will it work? Will it? And we're going to answer that question very thoroughly shortly. But first, allow me to mention our sponsors for today's show, which is Samima Rice Gardens. This is off the Kenol Nyeri Marua Road. You know Kenol Town in Muranga? It's very famous. Now there are plots of 50 by 100 being offered at Samima Rice Gardens. Of course, you can have a larger area by taking in more plots. And this location is just perfect, because it is very close to essential facilities like schools, hospitals, etc., etc. And the asking price for a plot is only Kenya shillings 1.2 million. And guess what? There are payment plans available, where you can spread out the payments. Even bank financing options that are bound to make the whole deal seamlessly easy for anybody who's interested. Now, I was introduced to this development by somebody who has supported this channel for a very long time. They got in touch with me and told me, Chris, I think your people will be very interested in this one. And I know the man behind it. And I am so convinced I'm going to do everything on their behalf. That is exactly what happened. And so I suggest you take a closer look at it. Now you can see a telephone number on your screens right now, 0722-724-830. Speak to the owner himself, Bwana Mugi Mwangi. Isn't it just lovely to know that you're not dealing with any middleman? Right, let us get on with the show. In my opinion, what we have here is a collision course that has been set up, and definitely two major forces are going to collide shortly, and of course the result is going to be chaotic. Which two major forces am I talking about? The people of Kenya, the sovereign, the long-suffering people of Kenya on one side, and then on the other side, the political class looking after their own selfish interests. It is very clear that there are many politicians within the ODM party who are very happy, very excited to be in government, to hold government positions, to have some power in government. That is very clear. And the same politicians have promised UDA and Ruto that if you have us inside your government, everything will be okay. The masses follow us blindly. Kenyans will follow us blindly into this broad-based government. I think they're very mistaken, because Kenya has changed. I keep on saying that. This is a different season. And indeed, it is because of the season that now Kenyans are clearly seeing with their own eyes the devious character of politicians we respected, the devious character of people in the ODM party, and it looks like it's the vast majority of them. Bottom line, all these politicians are the same. UDA, ODM, they are the same. That is what Kenyans are learning. And to put it in the words of a Kenyan who posted something online this morning, it is good that ODM has joined UDA. It is good that Raila has joined Ruto, and they're all together in one basket. That is very good news for Kenyans. Why? Because we'll be able to bring them all down at the same time in one move. Oh yes. There is something else that is coming out very clearly in all this, and that is the sheer desperation of Bwana Ruto. You know, when Ruto was deputy president and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was the president, Ruto was disgusted that Uhuru Kenyatta would actually think, not even do, would actually think of a handshake with Raila Odinga. According to Ruto, Uhuru was being weak. According to Ruto, Uhuru angekaa ngumu. According to Ruto, Uhuru did not know what he was doing. How can he have a handshake with Raila? And he fought it all the way. However, now, the same Ruto has realized, vitu kwa ground, iko tofauti. I'm sure he has realized by now, even if he has not spoken it, that actually Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta may not have been as weak as he initially thought. You know, it is very easy to be an armchair critic. It is very easy to look at somebody else sitting on a seat and to criticize them. It is something completely different for you to sit on the same seat, to be exposed to the same pressures, and then you realize, kumbe vitu kwa ground, they were very different from what I thought. And this is precisely what has happened to William Samoei Ruto. But you see, Ruto is not in a good position. He is not. There are so many things that can go wrong for him. Oh, so many. Please allow me to take you back briefly to history. And you'll see something that will shock you to your bones. There was a time when Raila Odinga and his party, then NDP, joined the powerful KANU government of Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. Raila and his cronies were put into cabinet positions. Pop! Raila then became Secretary General of KANU. Okay? Now it is very important to note that Raila did not betray KANU. He remained with KANU and was faithful to Moi until the last minute when something happened. That's a very important point to note, especially when we look at what we think is going to happen in Kenya next. Okay? And everything was okay until President Daniel Toroitich arap Moi named his preferred successor for the presidency. That is when kiliumana kuumana. I'm sure many Kenyans know the story. Raila Odinga led a rebellion out of KANU, that included even other KANU MPs who were never in NDP and who were never supporters of Raila. People like Professor George Saitoti, Mudi Awori, and many politicians from the Rift Valley, staunch supporters of KANU. Raila led many powerful politicians to leave KANU and form a party called LDP. And it is this LDP that merged with the rest of the opposition to remove KANU from power for the first time since independence. Okay? Fast forward to the present. Wouldn't it be true to say that it is highly likely that Raila Odinga and ODM will not betray Ruto? But somewhere down the road, something will happen. And the ODM troops will lead many powerful politicians out of Kenya Kwanza to merge with the opposition to remove Ruto from power. Don't you think that makes sense? I believe that is a very highly likely scenario. You know, people were to later say about the NDP KANU merger that KANU, the cockerel, swallowed the tractor. The tractor was the symbol of Raila Odinga's NDP party. KANU swallowed NDP, the tractor. But then, people forgot to switch off the engine of the tractor. And the tractor continued moving. And it ate all the insides of KANU, the cockerel, until there was nothing left. And of course the cockerel fell, died. And the tractor continued and powered its way out of the canoe carcass. That's what people are saying. Very interesting analogy. That is also very accurate in telling us exactly what happened then politically, and what could easily happen very shortly politically in the country called Kenya. By the way, people are still talking about how Raila Odinga lost an election, and some hilarious Kenyans are saying he lost an election in a city named after him. How so? Addis Ababa. Kenyans are very funny. So people are talking about how Baba lost an election in a city called Addis Ababa, and they're trying to debate and find out. And many revelations are emerging as to why Raila lost. But this morning, somebody shot me an email and asked me the question, Chris, what happened to the powerful Western nations that have a big influence within the African Union? Yeah. And of course we are sure they were supporting Raila Odinga. Actually they were supporting Ruto, who was supporting Raila. What happened, Chris? What went wrong? Could they not have done a pop, Raila duly elected? What happened? Well, I believe the answer is very simple. The power dynamics have shifted tremendously, yeah, since that change in the White House. The support Ruto was getting is not the same. Indeed, our immediate former Prime Minister, Meg Whitman, is no longer there. She left. And therefore, William Ruto finds himself in a very lonely place, where he has to get many things done by himself. And one example was the EU elections, where the night before, clearly the president did not sleep. He did not sleep. No expense was spared. No effort was spared to ensure that Raila Odinga won those elections. But he lost. Okay? I believe that is the answer to that question. And it also brings out something shocking. It means that those things which were being defeated in the country called Kenya before, because of this powerful Western influence, now, as we talk, we can confidently say, Vindu vichenjanga. Things have changed. Do you realize what that means? It means there are a lot of things that cannot be the same as they were before. Now that is a major statement with far-reaching implications. But let us wait and see how things unfold. Now finally, there is a question I promised to answer. Mbona watu wakubwa wengi sana wanatuacha kwa ghafla? Okay? Now I have reason to believe that we have entered a very deadly phase of this season of judgment and exposure, where it is highly likely, if we are correct, that we are going to lose many watu wakubwa in the nation called Kenya. Now, this is not a popcorn moment. This is a moment for every one of us to retreat to themselves and ask themselves many questions about what they've done in the past that was evil, what the ancestors have done in the past that was evil, and to repent and to ask Yahweh for forgiveness, yeah, and to move closer to the Almighty. It is extremely important because it is a deadly season, and Almighty God does not favor any man. And therefore it is prudent, instead of looking at the sins of others, you look at your very own sins. Okay? Just allow me to leave it there for now. This is the last call for my latest special report, which reveals a lot of what is happening in the inner circle, confirmed by many things we have discussed today. Yeah, the presidency is suddenly a very lonely place, but there's some super fascinating things happening deep in the presidency, which we should not ignore. Indeed, which we should pay close attention to if we want to start guessing accurately what is going to happen next. And in this Kipindi Chalala Salama, strictly only for the next 24 hours, you'll be able to get this special report and all previous special reports for the crazy price of only Kenya shillings 1,999. So please rush, please take full advantage of this, and please do everything in your power to avoid being time barred. Yeah, because 24 hours from now is a very short time indeed. I believe you can see all the details in front of your screens right now. And all that is left is for you to take action quickly. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.